Have you heard of Calle 23 or Calle 23 Criollo? Well, we're going to be doing a tasting and review of this Blanco tequila right here on the Tequila Hombre coming up next. Hello, tequila peeps, and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre. I am so glad that you're taking time out of your day to watch this video, and so I also appreciate your time is valuable. So let's get into this tequila really quickly here. So this tequila is made at a distillery called Tequila Quiote. It is located in the highlands of Jalisco. It is NOM 1433, and the master distiller on this is a little different in that it is a French biochemist, and it's a woman. Yes, her name is Sophie, and I'm sorry if I butcher your name, Sophie, but it's Decobec, and she is a French biochemist. She studied yeast and microbiology, so her expertise is along the lines of fermentation. But she studied in Guadalajara, and she also worked at some distilleries down there, learning the process of making tequila from some master distillers while she was there, and then ended up making her own brand, and that is the Calle 23 or Calle 23 brand. So when she came up with this tequila, it was actually thought of, and it was going to be a tribute to her firstborn child, her son Abel. So she wanted to make something different and special with it, and so she wanted to experiment with a different kind of Weber Blue Agave, and this Weber Blue Agave is called the Criollo. Now, Criollos are different in that they're smaller, more compact agave, and they're really rich in sugars. So it makes it a very potent agave. And so when they actually, so potent that when they harvested them, the agave itself was really sticky from all the sugars that were in it, and it had a really neat, distinctive odor. So normally with these agave, they mix them with the larger ones when they do their batches, but she wanted to do this batch just with these Criollo agaves. So after they harvest these agaves, she then uses an autoclave to cook them. And now she tried Hornos, and she tried the autoclave, and she found that she got a better flavor slow cooking them in an autoclave. So she doesn't use the high pressure, she uses low pressure in the autoclave. After cooking, it is then crushed with a roller mill. She uses deep well water as well in this tequila. And then after fermentation, which is fermented in stainless steel tanks, after fermentation, it is then 2 times distilled in a stainless steel still with copper coils. You got to have the copper in there because it reacts with and takes the nasties out of the distillate. So they do have that in the coils there. And then it goes on to being bottled, and this one is bottled at, 49.3% alcohol by volume. So with that agave, she was able to create a really distinctive flavor profile. And so let's get into the tasting, and we can discuss the nose and flavor of this tequila that's, made differently than most other tequilas. Before we get into the tasting, though, let's take a dive down and take a look at the bottle. All right, so let's dive down and take a look at the bottle. On the top of the cap, it says 23 for Calle 23, and it's a wooden cap. Is that wood? Yeah, it feels like wood. You can tell they use a real cork inside. And then looking at the bottle, you see all these little bubbles. This is a hand-blown bottle, and normally when you see the bubbles in there, you can tell that it's hand-blown. And then going down and looking at the label, it's a beautiful label. This was drawn by an artist named Rose Guerrero. And there's different symbolism to each element that's on this label. This sparrow or swallow signifies a new arrival, which this is a tribute to her first child born. His name's Abel, her son Abel. And then the snake, which is from Mexican culture. The snake plays a big part. It's even on the flag. And then Criollo, which is the kind of agave, Weber Blue Agave that she used. Then you see the skull, which is also big in Mexican culture. And then a rose for the artist, Rose Guerrero. And then the agave, the Criollo, the smaller agave. And then the blue agave in the back. And then it says 750 milliliters, 49.3% alcohol by volume. And this is signifies the street sign that she saw to get the idea for the name of her tequila brand. And it says Tequila Blanco and 100% agave azul, 100% blue agave. So then and it says number 7411, and I believe that might be the bottle number. I don't know for sure. And then on the back, it says drawing of the label was by Rose Guerrero, the artist. And then it has the NOM number 1433, CRT, the organization that monitors the NORMA, and then government warning label, and then who it's imported by Park Street Imports in Miami, Florida. And then there's a hanging tag here as well that kind of gives you the story and tells you about the birth of her first child, Abel, and the story about how this was created using the Criollo and the story behind the tequila in itself, this particular Blanco. So that is it. It's a beautiful bottle, beautiful presentation. Now let's go up and taste the tequila and see if it's as great as the bottle is. All right, now that you had a chance to take a look at the bottle, let's get into the tasting. And of course, as usual, I am using the Jarrito Stazel nosing glass. It is, this version I'm using is the high proof version, so it is shorter and it has the wider mouth on it. It's typically, or I think it was meant for mezcals, but you can also use it for high proof tequilas. So we are going to use that. So let's pop the top off this and pour a glass. It is a real cork, which is good. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at this thing. Put the top back in. All right, so let's take a look at the viscosity on it. See how it sticks to the, coats the glass nicely. You can see it coating the glass there. You can see the legs, the tears on it. So looks like it has a really good viscosity. It normally has a thicker viscosity like that. It sticks very nicely to the glass. Let's check the nose out on it. Oh wow, the nose on this is ridiculous. I get beautiful, lots and lots of beautiful cooked agave. It has it's definitely grassy. It has a lot of grassiness to it. It's really floral and some light fruit. A little bit of anise, like black licorice as well. It's got a really nice nose. It's very complex compared to most other Blancos I've had. It's very, very complex. Try to pick out all the different scents on this. It's kind of, but you definitely get that beautiful, sweet cooked agave smell by the tons. Yeah, definitely floral, light pepper, fruity, with some anise, some black licorice type of scent to it as well. Let's taste it. All right. It is very creamy on the mouthfeel. Really silky smooth and creamy on the mouthfeel. You get a load of agave right up front. A little bit of grassiness to it. Definitely, I'm getting definitely anise, the black licorice type. It has a really nice heat to it that is persistent all the way through, and it stays with it on the finish. I have to take another sip though. Mm. It definitely has a fruitiness to it too, almost like pear, plum type of fruitiness, and it stays. It gets really it gets sweet at the end, and it stays with it for a while. But then after it goes away, you kind of get a little smokiness from it on the finish, and that heat. I mean, from that last sip, that heat is still with me, but it's not like an overbearing heat. It's like a warm hug. it's it's nice. This is really nice. This is definitely one of the actually the best Blanco I think I've ever tasted. This is amazing. It's so complex. I mean, I would have to keep you guys here for hours as I sift through the different flavors that I'm getting on this. Yeah, I know you don't want to sit there and do that. With that sweet cooked agave flavor up front. Baking spices, like you get the cinnamon and like nutmeg flavors right up front from the cooked agave. A little bit of clove even. And then that anise comes in, the black licorice. I'm not a big fan of black licorice, but as long as it's not by itself, I'm okay with it. And this actually blends out from that really sweet agave, this cooked agave. It balances it out very nicely. And literally this heat, I mean, it's 90, 49, 98%. And the heat is not bad at all. This is a fantastic Blanco. Seriously, it's, you know, I know it's expensive. It runs somewhere between $80 to $100. But this is one that you pull out for a special occasion or for a celebration, or just when you want something that is miles better than anything else you've ever tasted. This is so complex and so beautiful. You have to add it to your collection. And I'm not even joking. Now, and also, I bought this bottle. Actually, I didn't buy it. I wanted it on a bet. I bet the Dodgers against the Brewers series, and I made the guy buy me this as part of the bet. And so, but I'm not being paid for this review. This is an honest review. This is my favorite Blanco. This is the number one Blanco that I've ever tasted, and I've got a shelf full of Blancos over here. I've tried a lot of them. This is my favorite. You have to add this to your collection if you're a person that likes Blancos. Even if you don't like Blancos, you got to try some if you see it somewhere. Amazing. Absolutely beautiful. This is just amazingly beautiful. I mean, can I tell you how beautiful this thing is? Mm. Amazing. That's all I can say. All right, so quit watching this and really get online or go to a store that has it and get some now. Seriously, before it's gone. It's limited edition. They didn't make a whole bunch of it. So if you've been thinking about it, you want to know what people thought, I'll tell you. Get it. It's amazing. All right, well, that's all I got for you. If you've tried it and you'd like to comment, I'd love to hear what you think about it. If you disagree with me, please post your comments below over here and let me know. And I would love to hear from you. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because we got more great reviews coming up here in the near future. And remember, as I always say, life is too good to drink bad tequila. Salud.